So, you've seen the title. So, what makes this project so special? Let's find out together. I'm datboi and welcome to my channel. And here we go. Haruka Nakamura makes calming and warm music. A bit rustic and intimate, I might add. Like, his music is presented in such a dry, plain, and then wholesome way. I don't know. It's just, I guess it has to do with production, but it also has to do with the respective genres that he works in, typically being folk music and ambient music, which are some of the my personal comfort music when it comes to finding something to just relax my mind. So while I don't listen to his stuff much, I think his vibes are pretty agreeable, and when it hits, it will hit pretty hard. Now, moving on to Miss Ichiko Aoba though. She's one of my favorite artists ever, possessing such heavenly vocals, and even though her songwriting approach is a bit scanned or maybe minimalistic to some, for me she is just one of those artists that gets so much out of so little. Minimalistic and sparse as her music might come across for some, it always evokes the deepest and most genuine and pure of feelings within me. So yeah, that's why she is literally one of my favorites ever. So what exactly happens when these two collab? Well, this mini album, Ryusei, it was originally merch sold at a live event at a venue called Sonorium, a very small concert hall in Tokyo, I believe. I don't remember the exact details, but there's this blog post in Japanese that talks in really great detail about this particular event, and I will link it in the description for those who are interested and could read their Japanese. So yeah, I'll do that. But yeah, back to the main thing here. It was a merch sold at that event for a very limited quantity of 100 copies, and each of them were numbered too. So you can imagine this is some very collector's edition, super limited stuff, and you don't find the information for this record out and about online easily. I guess it's simply because back then Miss Ichiko was way too unknown. She was way too underground for any sort of mainstream attention, and it's essentially from Japan, a country where people don't speak English or any other type of foreign language as well, so we don't get English coverage for events like this. So it's great that someone did actually make a post for others to to read and understand about this very fascinating past event, which I am super appreciative of. So yeah, basically that was the context to this mysterious record itself. Now, how about the event? How about the things that happened during this live event? So basically it featured some of Miss Aoba's fan favorites, some singles off of her debut album Fuwarin, or her opener from her second, or is it third, her 2012 record Utabiko, Imperial Smoke Town, and some covers and then some. That's for Miss Ichiko. I assume that Mr. Nakamura took the role of backing instruments, because since he doesn't really sing, right? During the performances of Miss Ichiko's songs, and later on they performed Ryusei, which is the second song in the mini album, by the way. This whole show is backed by some stellar visuals, stars and night skies and freaking Milky Way, you know what I'm saying? All that great stuff. And to be honest, I actually, taking a look at some of the photos here, I am pretty much into this type of vibe. This is, some of the events that I would actually go to were I to not be freaking a decade plus late. But this was back when Miss Ichiko was way, way unknown. Like, to put it into perspective of how unknown she was, I'll show you this like Twitter post here. And this event is like a very small scaled one of like 80 participants. So the vibe is probably pretty chill. And it's honestly, I guess, my preferred type of event where there's like not too many people. I don't like too crowded places. It's not really my thing. But yeah, looking at how it was back then and how it's going now, I'd say it's truly heartwarming to see Miss aoba receiving the type of recognition that she deserves these days. So yeah, that pretty much covers the context to this mysterious record. And if you guys want to learn more about the event itself, or whatever, then just check out the blog post that I have linked in the description. So with all that done, let's move on to talk about the actual music, okay? Well, I guess all I gotta say is I freaking love this record. Such an ethereal record, and it's very evocative of a starry night sky. It is just the way I feel and see the music here, and it's definitely my idea of music done right. So the starting track has this overwhelming warmth to it, which I'd credit the like very shape-shifty synth work for. The synthesizer is at times very oomphy, very rumbly sounding, and at times very springy, stretchy, and just it's very cozy sounding overall. It's very hard to describe, for me to pin down what's actually going on here, but yeah, let's just say that the synth work is quite magical. And once Miss Ichiko aoba's vocals just cut into the mix for the first time, I'm just like goddamn floating. Like, her vocals are just so beautiful, and I just cannot get enough of. So yeah, anyways, the song just ends off with some of this like nature recording samples to like give it like this sort of like natural ambient feel, which I absolutely adore. And it's not like this is the ending part of the song is the only moment when ambient noises are introduced into the mix. We also got some of that like sprinkled throughout the song, but yeah, it's really noticeable right at the end here. So overall, this track is very cozy, very ambient, and it's like one of my favorite combinations ever. So oh yes. The second track is probably one of the best tracks of the entire record, if not the best, because it's such an organic and intimate listen. Miss Ichiko absolutely slayed on the vocal end of things. And this track is just really over 9,000. The piano melodies are very lovely here, but it is when these melodies intertwine with the acoustic guitars that the ethereality just shoots off the charts. Some of the little details that I feel, also add a lot to the intimacy, the overall groundedness and wholesomeness, gotta be how the mic is positioned very closely to the piano, so much so that you can hear like the thump of each note as they just fully travel the distance hitting the wood. It's actually so incredible. I just love it when records are presented in such a very plain, rustic, and very endearing fashion. And there's also like some ambient noise recording samples thrown subtly into the back of the mix, and you don't typically like focus your attention on that bit of musical idea there, but you just kind of appreciate that it's there. And for this track in particular, like everything just sums up into like this one big, I don't know, image of like, and by that I mean whenever I listen to this track, it feels just like me stargazing on a fine autumn night. It's so captivating like that. This track is killer. The track Seika is probably, or him in English, is probably one of my favorites. The track is just Miss Aoba's beautiful singing to this curtain of rain that wraps around everything. It's short but sure is darn sweet. It's very ambient, it's very emotionally potent. It's just awesome. I love it so much. Now, the fourth track, Peony of the Rainy Season, I think. I'm not sure how to pronounce the Japanese title, so I just went with the English one here. Starts off like a piano ambient piece that is accompanied by some like acoustic guitars, and then shifts into a typical aoba type song with beautiful singing, folky presentation, like some like burst singing, ambient recording, add-ons, and a noticeable noise floor. Like, it's not that the overall noise floor is quiet throughout the record, like it's there pretty much all the time, but for some reason I just feel like it's more prominent here on this track, probably due to the track just having nothing but noise and piano at first, and I kind of love its presence here. So yeah. And lastly, the track Sonoakuru Hi, I think is how it's pronounced. Hope I did not butcher anything here. Feels like an extension to the previous track, a postlude of sort, and just a way to end such a serene record like this one. And there's a thing that I just kind of forgot to mention until now, is that the chemistry between Miss Aoba and Mr. Nakamura is so amazing. Like, it's on like beautiful display. They just complement each other so well, and that's probably the huge part of why this record turned out so beautiful the way it did. So yeah, that's it. That's the record. Overall, like a damn beautiful little work. And if you're looking for an ethereal, serene piece of music of modest playtime that breaks no new grounds but is extremely well put together, look no further. If you love, Ichiko aoba and is a Ichiko aoba fan, then this is a must check out project. And this album, this mini album, just reminds me of a certain scene in an anime called Bakemonogatari. Some of you guys may know, for sure. And it's that certain scene where, Araragi went out with his girlfriend, and they just stargazed at like her secret spot, and that was like a wholesome moment. And this album reminds me of exactly that moment. And I just love when things remind me of other things that I love. It's awesome. It's like a nice connection your brain makes, and you just go like, wow, goddamn, awesome, very cool. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those moments for me. And so this project is a personal favorite, and it doesn't have to be perfect for everyone, but for me, it's like a freaking 10 out of 10 in my book. And I do highly recommend it. And yeah, I hope if you guys find this video interesting, then give this a like and a subscribe. Your boy would be absolutely happy. And that should be everything that I wanted to share and talk with you guys today. And I love y'all. Datboi out. Ciao.